Okay, let's dig into this a little bit more. Let's speak to Asaduzzaman Fuaad, the lawyer with the Bangladesh Supreme Court that you just saw there in Mohammed's report. He joins us live from Dhaka. Very good to have you here on the program. Let's just clarify here from the start. What's the view of the court? Should this quota system remain in place, or should there be a return to jobs being handed out based on merit?
I think we need a little bit of background that we don't have a credible elected government in this country for the last 16 years. There have been no credible elections since 2008. So that's one thing has to be kept in mind, that what kind of regime is in place. Secondly, economy is very badly performing since last 5 or 6 years. As I told the reporter earlier that the unemployment rate is 2.6 million. That's the government statistics. The private sector statistics is even more than 10 million. Graduates are looking for jobs or they're underemployed. So keeping that in mind, judiciary is highly politicized in this country as well. So the problem is the regime is reluctant to take a decision on their behalf. Rather, they're pushing the ball to the judge's court to make a decision on their behalf. But there's a clear legal jurisprudence that on a political question, judiciary must not get into it. But sadly, they got into it. How the state should be run, how a state policy should work, it should be the matter for the politicians, the executives, and the parliament to decide.
But hold on. Again, your court decided last month to reinstate the part for the veterans, and you work for the Supreme Court. So obviously, you took a decision to put that back in place. Does that mean that you want this quota system to be in place?
No, I think because it is simply unconstitutional. The judges cannot do that. And the judgment was on a technical point. How the order was placed in 2017 or 18 should be in place. The fundamental question is whether we should have an affirmative discrimination as per the Constitution. We should, but the percentage we have, 56%, is simply goes very against the very essence of our Constitution and the Proclamation of Independence. What the students are demanding, it needs to be amended, reformed to bring it down to 5 or 10% at the highest. And it should not accommodate the sons and the children, the grandchildren of the freedom fighters of 1971. That simply doesn't go with the line of the constitutional framework. What it requires by the Constitution, that only the backward communities and the disabled should be brought under. Now, who are the backward communities? Sadly, the government and the regime is not willing to define it, because within that framework, the sons and the grandchildren of the freedom fighters would not fall, because many of them are already the beneficiary of the state. So what we are saying that it needs to be defined, putting it back to the framework of the Constitution, like the disabled people, like the backward community, for say the workers in the tea gardens, the sweepers community of the very low ethnic minorities. Those are the people that needs to be brought back into the mainstream.
But Mr. Fuaad, you've been seeing these pictures now from the capital of those angry students that they don't want this to be there in place. They want people to get jobs based on merit. And this started after your Supreme Court took that decision. Was that the wrong thing to do, to go that way? Should your court not have made that decision?
Yes, of course, because judiciary must not delve into the political question. It's a matter of the state policy. The politicians, the parliament, the executive should look into it.
So why did you do it? Why did you do that then?
Because judiciary is highly politicized. As I told you earlier, that there is no credible election. There is no elected government in place. So everything has been like a part of an authoritarian government in this country now. And we had a fake election in January 2007. January this year earlier. So considering that fact and the high unemployment rate, everything has been conflated into this crisis. And yesterday, there have been brutal crackdown on the students at the different universities and campuses. Thousands of the students have been brutally attacked and injured. They have been hospitalized. There have been serious injuries to them. And therefore, what the point is, It is a political question. The demand needs to be resolved politically through dialogue and negotiation. Police crackdown or the crackdown by the ruling party student lead goons would not resolve it. It's the matter the government should look and listen to the students. We demanded a high-powered commission should be formed who should look into the matter, their demands, and what needs to be done in light of the constitutional framework, how and who should get that affirmative discrimination at this time and age.
All right. Asaduzzaman Fuaad, a lawyer that works for the Bangladesh Supreme Court. Thank you very much for your time here on TRT World.